Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Unfortunately, my camera isn't working, but you all can look at a very beautiful picture of me. My name is Paja, and I'm with NFI Solutions. If you don't know us, we work closely with insurance agents and financial professionals to help support growth, improve processes, and just make the day-to-day operations more efficient. And one of our goals is to keep attendees like you educated and informed about the industry. And today's topic is one that I'm very excited about. We'll be talking about seminars. Whether if you already have hosted one before or you're considering it, you want to learn more about the benefits of running a seminar and how to use it to its full potential, this is definitely the right place to be. That's why we're very excited to have Nick Schmidt with us today. Nick is a senior marketing consultant at AcquireUp, that's formerly White Glow, where he focuses on helping financial professionals improve client acquisitions through more effective seminar strategies. That means better targeting and stronger follow-up systems. Nick is going to walk through how agents are using data and technology to get more out of their seminars, from attendance all the way through to appointments and actual business. And if you have any questions, do leave a message in the chat panel, and we'll be happy to go over as many as we can during the Q&A segment. And with that, Nick, I'll let you take it from here.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for the introduction and for having me on here. I'm excited to share, kind of our story, how we can help, and kind of go through the process here. So first things first, I want to go through a little bit of company history. So AcquireUp has been around for the last 40 years. We were founded in 1986, so this year marked year 40. The nice thing about that is we've got decades worth of content and experience to help guide you in the right direction, whether you're currently doing seminars or whether you're looking to get into the seminar space. We want to make sure that your marketing dollars that you're spending are being optimized to the maximum. So first things first, I'm going to pull up I've pulled up our webpage. Simply put, say goodbye to your empty seminars. We have several different ways that we can help you fill these workshops and seminars. Dinners, educational events, client events, and everything in between. We do have two different business models that I want to get into today. The first one is going to be the old white glove model. The model's not old, but the white glove name has been sunsetted. That is now our performance-based model. So for those of you who are familiar, it's very similar. For those who are not, I'll dive into that quickly. So long story short, we have a program where you pay for those that attend. Phenomenal system. We have 3 different topics that you can pick and choose from. It's really plug and play. We do everything from booking the venue to confirmation calls, and you just need to show up and present and let us know who was in attendance. Those 3 topics are Social Security, estate planning, and taxes and retirement. Now, taxes is a hot topic and has been for the past couple of years. Estate planning is the top performing topic that we see across the board. And then Social Security is a great way to cut your teeth and get into doing some of these seminars while not only providing value and helping them with the Social Security claiming strategies, but also exposing the income gap that they're going to have in retirement compared to the lifestyle that they live today. So it's a great opportunity to expose that income gap and backfill that with certain products like a fixed index annuity or an IUL that they can draw from, things along those lines. So that program is great. Like I said, it's really done for you. So if you just say, hey, I want to do a Social Security event in this area, we'll go ahead and find the best performing venue, get that booked, send you the marketing materials for approval. We've got a ton that are already pre-approved for those of you that are securities licensed. So as long as you let us know your BD or RAA, we'll put together that compliance package and make sure that it's a nice and easy, seamless process for you. The other program that we have is called our custom crafted side. Now that comes from the Acquire Direct portion of the business, which is done through direct mail and digital advertising. So what I'm going to jump into next is our proprietary data tool called Perspectix. And this tool is unique in the sense that, to my knowledge, nobody in the industry has anything close to this. Most folks out there utilize a single data provider. A lot of folks that I know that run their own seminars, they'll go out to people like Info Group USA or, XYZ list provider and mail that out. And that's fine and that works. However, what we've noticed over the last decade and a half is that data is the utmost important thing that is going to drive these responses. So we have gone out to the 3 largest data compilers in the US, Experian being the most notably recognizable name because it's a credit-based bureau. But what we've done is analyzed all of their areas of expertise in data compilation. So ages, incomes, assets, marital status, homeownership. The list goes on and on and on. There's over 400 ways that we can slice and dice this data and get you in front of the right prospects. So by combining that, we're able to get you in front of those 10 to 20% unique records that you won't reach elsewhere. So that in and of itself is one of the biggest reasons that a lot of agents and advisors are working with AcquireUp today. On top of that, most marketing firms are going to do a standard mileage radius. Some may call that as a crow flies. Some may call that the lazy radius, aka me. But what we're looking at here quickly, this is my office, this blue pin. We're going to pretend that that's the venue where we're hosting a seminar. We're looking at a 10-mile radius of the venue. What we're seeing here is we're asking people to travel across bridges, which are effectively parking lots during rush hour. Awesome place if you want to watch the sunset right here. But if you're trying to get from point A to point B, logistically speaking, it's not going to happen unless the prospects really pre-plan. So we've taken that a step further and gone out to Google Maps and Waze traffic, and we can identify a drive time radius based on minutes versus mileage. And we do that by looking at historical traffic patterns on certain days and certain times of day. So not only are we going to get you in front of that 10 to 20% range of unique prospects, but we're also going to help you stretch those marketing dollars by marketing smarter, meaning you're marketing to people that can make it within a timely fashion, right? That increases the likelihood that they're going to respond, and even furthermore increases the likelihood that they're going to attend. So for the sake of time here today, I pre-populated a count around the office. We did a quick 18-minute drive time. 20 to 25 minutes seems to be about the sweet spot of how far people will drive in the Tampa Bay area. But we'll work together in your area to figure out how far people are willing to drive. I've got some clients up in Minnesota. I've got some folks over in Wisconsin where the prospect universe is used to driving further, right? So in some cases, we may drive 45 minutes or create a drive time that's 45 minutes to an hour if that's typically how long people are willing to drive. So we'll work together in that regard. But just quickly, what I've built here is ages 54 to 75 with $250,000 and above of investable assets. Now, I like to use that versus net worth. Net worth is great and all. I bought my house at the perfect time. It's now worth double what I paid for it 8 years ago. And it shows that my net worth is over $750,000. I wish I had that liquid in my bank account, but I don't. So this IPA or this Perspectix IQ that we're looking at here is a lot more liquidity than what you would see in a traditional net worth. So it's going to be things like 401ks, IRAs, investment portfolios, savings, things along those lines. So it's going to be a lot easier to move those assets into the products that you're looking to sell, because it's that liquid, right? And then the orange that we're seeing here, those are the densities of prospects, right? So my office is kind of right in the middle of two pockets of prospects. So what I would do personally is I would split this into two marketing zones. So I would have an east side and I would have a west side. So I'd pick a venue over here near this 2223, and then I'd find something over here now near this 1098. So this tool works in multiple different ways, gets us the unique prospects, helps us market smarter by the marketing to those that can make it within a timely fashion. And then on top of that, it'll help us create a sustainable marketing rotation so it's repeatable, right? We don't want to just go in guns blazing and oversaturate the area, have a good couple of responses from the first few campaigns and then just see it tank. We take a lot of pride in making sure that we create a sustainable, repeatable marketing system for you as the agent and the advisor. So that's kind of step one of what we do on the custom crafted side. Step two would be working with me, and I work with our graphic artists to create a fully customized marketing piece. So whatever the topic is, we'll start with something that we know works. It's a proven winner. From there, we'll customize it to the nines with your branding, your bio, your logo. If you have any as heard on, as seen on accreditations like TV, radio, newspaper, whatever it might be, we'll list all of that to help build that credibility. If you're part of any nonprofits, we'll dress it all up for you, right? So the money that you're spending is not only being spent to generate attendees to a workshop or seminar, but it's also spent on branding you and your business. Because as we know, we may market to somebody today and it's not the right time. 2, 3, 4 months down the line, things may have changed. And with them seeing your branding, the likelihood of them responding in the future increases very significantly. So we'll create that marketing together. You guys have full say into what goes out. You've got to approve it before we even deploy it. And then we capture all of the responses within our platform called LeadJig. So you'll have access to this. It'll show just your instance. But what I'm looking at here today is all of the clients that I currently work with. So I'll go through this quickly. New opportunities, that's the total number of registrations that I've generated in the last 30 days. From there, you can see the total asset opportunities. We're looking at 59.4 billion. There's some digits hidden behind this graph. Down below, you've got upcoming events, venue, date and time, total number of registrations. So just at a glance, when you log in, it's nice to be able to see what's going on with your campaigns. What does the opportunity look like for you? And then over on the right-hand side, it shows our activity stream. So when you approve your marketing pieces, those get uploaded into that individual campaign. So if you ever need to revisit it for compliance or wonder why something works so well or performs so poorly, it's all in there for you. It also gives you quick indicators when you're nearing or hit capacity. This way we can have a conversation about what we want to do, right? If there's a week left and we have a good trajectory of responses, it might make sense for us to open an overflow date so that prospects can register for that versus going on a wait list and collecting dust and hoping that a seat becomes available. So we'll work together in that regard. Now, I do want to take a step back real quick and kind of explain why I'm so heavy on seminars. And it's not just because I'm an employee here, but I started in this industry 14 years ago as a recruitment specialist for FMOs, IMOs, BDs, and RIAs. So I've seen just about every hook that these folks are utilizing as lead magnets, everything from the business reply cards to internet leads, Bankrate, for those of you who have been around for a while, that was a big company that you used to be able to buy internet leads from. There's LinkedIn, there's all sorts of different ways that people generate leads. And what I have seen, and the agents and advisors that we work with, are seeing the best ROI from seminars simply because they're getting a group of like-minded or like demographic individuals in a room. They're able to deliver their presentation once, display their expertise, build that rapport, and then go on to scheduling those appointments. So it's the most streamlined way of getting in front of a group of people and being able to display that expertise. So a lot of the clients that we're working with, I'm going to talk about annuity production for a moment. I'd say the average producer we're working with is doing between $10 and $30 million worth of annuity premium per year through seminars. Now, for those that are securities licensed, most folks are pulling anywhere from 3 to 5 million worth of new AUM out of these seminars. And that's because of the way that we're able to target the demographics and the investables, as well as the ability to get in front of these people versus chasing leads around, right? With something like a smart asset. Nothing against them. They've got a great program and a great company, but you tend to have to do a lot more chase work in that regard to get in front of them and try to schedule that appointment. So it works out really well in that regard. Now, off my soapbox, and I'll keep going with this demonstration here, but source attribution is the last thing that I want to talk about on this page. It's nice to be able to see, okay, out of the 100-some thousand registrations, where are these registrations coming from? Since we are an omni-channel marketing company, meaning we utilize multiple channels to market to these prospects, you're able to see here, 52% of the registrations are coming from direct mail. Then the digital side, we've got about 46, 47% that are coming from digital. We can also do email marketing for you. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of that because seniors have been coached so heavily to avoid emails due to phishing scams and whatnot. But we do still have some clients that utilize it with success. Now, this radio tab that we're seeing here, we don't do the actual radio shows, but we can help you capture the responses that call in after you run that radio segment. So the name of the game with us is transparency. We want to show you who we're marketing to on the front end, what we're using as the marketing piece, and then who's responding on the back end, so that you have that ability to say, okay, this marketing method worked really well. Let's focus on that. Or maybe this one didn't work. Let's eliminate it. You know, we just want to give you those tools and that insight. So we're making educated decisions versus guessing, which lean on us for that because we've got 40 years worth of testing and guessing into this stuff. Don't waste your marketing dollars on something that's a guess. Lean on me or your marketing consultant that you work with here internally for guidance in that nature. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you here is an actual campaign that I did with one of NFI's agents. Hans here, we did this back in September. So we did a 6,000 piece mailer. That's what this reach indicates. We give prospects 2 ways to register. They can either call in, and we have a unique 800 number. Our operators will answer the phone with your company name. So in this case, thank you for calling Retirement Strategy Reservation Line. May I take your reservation starting with first and last name? So not only do we want to brand you throughout the marketing materials, we also want to do so during the registration process. Now, I know you've heard this before, but a lot of seniors, pre-retirees tend to think that all call centers are overseas. Ours are not the point here, but we also give them the opportunity to go to a landing page. This landing page can be customized with your logo up here, details on what's being covered, bio, and headshot. Now, this event has passed, so for protection of Hans and the information that he sent out, we do remove that post-event, but we do leave this landing page live. Let's say somebody's out of the country on a mission trip for 6 months. They get back, they see your mailer, and they think, oh man, that's a really good idea. Let me see if I can request additional information. So they can either call my operators or they can go to this landing page and they can request additional information from the presenter. So even if they are out of town for a long period of time, we are able to still capture that as an option for you. Now, we got 363 views on the landing page. That is inflated. I've used this for demonstration purposes in some cases. But the most important thing that we want to look at here is the total number of registrations. So out of the 6,000 pieces in the small digital budget that we did, we ended up with 98 registrations. I'll tell you that is a bit high from what I typically see, but that's good because we're not going to cap the number of responses on the custom crafted or the performance-based side. The breakdown over here of where the registrations are coming from is nice to be able to see. So as I showed you earlier in the dashboard, the breakdown of mail versus digital and email, you also have that on the individual campaign level as well. So 45 from mail, 41 from digital, 12 from email. And then if we scroll down, we can get some additional insights into where each individual came from. So this is where you can say, hey, Nick, the digital marketing's working really well. Let's increase our spend there. Or the digital marketing's not working. Let's eliminate it. We can make those educated decisions moving forward based off of this information. Now, if we click into a prospect record, this, in my opinion, is where a lot of the magic happens. Because we're able to display a ton of intel on who these people are. So we've got Mark, who registered, the information he provided at the point of registration. From there, we're able to tell you he's 56 years of age. He has an asset range of 1 to 2 million. His income's 125,000 and above. And then down below that, we've got their home value. So before you even talk to these people, you've got to peek behind the curtains to kind of have an idea of who they are pre-event. And then down below that, we've also got this enhanced data field. So we'll try to pull in additional pieces of contact information, maybe the industry that they work in this case, their LinkedIn profile, their Facebook profile, other locations they may have lived, skills, interests, hobbies. I've got a client that I work with in Texas who's a big hog hunter. He noticed somebody had an interest in hunting and it happened to be hunting season. Good for him because he was able to say, hey, Bob, what you got going on this weekend? Oh, well, I'm going hunting with a couple of buddies. How about you? Oh, me too. Boom, they hit it off. He was able to move a $2.4 million annuity within a couple of weeks and then ended up getting the rest of the $6 million portfolio for the assets under management side. From there, he's gotten 6 new clients out of it as far as referrals, and they've gone hunting several times. So if you can use this information to your advantage, I highly suggest in doing so. Now, I wouldn't say read this stuff verbatim, and I say that because I had a client in New York notice that somebody lived in the same building that he used to live in. The guy happened to be Unit B. He was Unit D. He said, hey, I see you used to live here. We used to be hall neighbors. And it happened to be that was, 10 years old, that old address. So he absolutely freaked the guy out. He lost a $10 million client because of it. So I do like to give that little disclaimer to make sure that you're not reading things verbatim. You got to be a little slick in how you use this information. Now, if you talk to Mark and he's ready for an appointment, you can go ahead and click schedule appointment right here. It'll show you if you've got any calendar conflicts. You can sync up your calendar, whether it's Google, Outlook, Apple, or Calendly, and then save that appointment. So it is nice in that sense that you can use this as a quasi CRM if you don't have one, or you don't have an appointment setting system. It's beautiful in that regard. Now, let's get to the brass tacks here and talk about, he didn't mark his attendance. We can't get to the brass tacks, unfortunately, here. But we do have a lot of automation that goes out from the system. So at the point of registration, they'll receive an email thanking them for registering, reminding them of date, time, and location. All of that can be found over here in the activity stream. So the event registration email looks similar to this, reminds them of date, time, and location, and then to be on the lookout for another email that allows them to confirm attendance. So we try to take a lot of the heavy lifting off of your plate. Day before the event, they'll receive that confirmation email. They can one-click confirm. And I do want to mention these are generic, but you can customize these to the nines. I've got clients that'll put a little bomb video in there. Hey, I'm Nick. Wanted to put a face to a name. I look forward to seeing you at our event. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out based on the information below. And they'll point down to the company information right here. So you can do a lot with this stuff, but that's just the pre-canned info. If they don't respond to that email, a confirmation text is sent. Now, I highly recommend that you go through and call everybody that is not self-confirmed. We typically see anywhere from 30 to 50% of the audience will self-confirm. So you only need to make a handful of calls the day before the event to confirm the remainder of the folks. And again, this is on the custom crafted side. On performance-based, we do all of the confirmations for you, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. I'll show some of those campaigns in just a moment. And then the day of the event, the prospects receive an event reminder text. It says, hey, we look forward to seeing you at O'Toole's. Here's the address. Click here for driving instructions. They can one click, it pulls up their GPS unit, and they're en route to the event. So that's kind of the high level here as far as what you would utilize, what you would see, what the system does for you. But there's a lot more behind the scenes as well. Now let me pull up a performance-based campaign here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, and then we'll open this up for Q&A. How are we doing on time?
We are doing great.
Good. Just wanted to make sure that I left enough there. So as soon as this populates, awesome. So this campaign was this week. Perfect. So this gentleman is using us for, well, both. He does dinner seminars, and then he also does the performance-based events where he does them at libraries. He ended up with 104 total registrations. Let's see how many people attended. So he had 20 people attend night one, and 17 people attend night two. So total, he had 37 households that attended these two workshops. And the nice thing is he wanted 36 total people. So he paid for 36. Everybody else, the 100 or the 70 other people that were registered, he got all of that information once his invoice was paid. So you see how all of this is unlocked. That information becomes unlocked post-event. So it's good in that regard. And then let me show you the landing page because it's a little bit different than the traditional custom crafted one. My computer seems to be lagging here. I apologize. We will sit and wait, I suppose. It's just there. Sorry, technical difficulties. Bear with me. Click that. All right. So this one is set up a little different. Instead of branding you and your business, we're going to utilize our brand, which is the 567 brand. It's been around for the past decade. It carries a lot of weight in the educational space. So this one is Social Security 567. We've also got estate planning 567 and taxes and retirement 567. So as you can see here, it looks a little bit different. It's set up more as an educational event versus a promotion of the advisor or the agent who is presenting. They can go ahead and see kind of what you'll be covering here. Why attend? We've got our nice little Forbes mention, and then some FAQs here, right? So if they like it, they go ahead and click register, and then my team handles that up until the day of the event when then you would go ahead and present. Now, there's a lot more, like I mentioned a little bit ago, behind the scenes that we do to make sure that you're successful. So one of the founders of the White Glove product is a financial advisor. So we have him on staff figuratively speaking. He still runs his financial practice. But if you guys need help with coaching or learning how to present or how to tweak certain things, we can always set up a coaching call with Dean on our team. In addition to that, we've got a phenomenal resource. I cannot recommend this man enough. His name is Frank Maselli, Masseli, I believe. He's a seminar coach. He's been doing seminars for 30 years. He was an advisor 30 years ago. And the tips and tricks that I've learned from him in the last 2 years have been phenomenal. And every client that I send his way increases their appointment ratio, whether it be 20%, 30%, 40%, it increases by at least 20 to 30%, just by implementing some of his strategies. So I don't get any kickbacks from him. He's not on the payroll. But if you're serious about getting better at seminars, I highly suggest talking to him. I've sent people over to him that have done seminars for 5 to 10 years, and they've picked up nuggets that, you would think would be common sense, but the way that he spins it just puts that phenomenal touch on it, and it helps you increase the appointment ratio and, your close ratio. So we should talk about the average cost per campaign. You're looking at anywhere from $5 to $7,000 for our marketing costs. So if you sell $100,000 annuity, you're in the money. Everybody else is just icing on the cake. I don't know what that looks like based on certain life products, but it's not hard to recoup $7,000 if we're putting you in front of people with $250,000 and above of investable assets. It's pretty simple. The average ROI that our clients are getting, I'd say low end 3 to 5x. So for easy numbers' sake here, if you spent $10,000, I would expect to net 30 to 50. For your really good presenters who've been doing this a while, I'm seeing anywhere from 7 to 12x. So you spend 10, you net 70 to 120. Now I've got folks that on average are doing between 10 and 30 million of annuity production. And I'm saying that just because it's easy to calculate the ROI. Solely doing seminars. They're not doing any other marketing activities that they're paying for, right? They may do things at the community center or pop up a booth at some type of, farmer's market or something. But outside of that, they're solely focused on seminars because the ROI is so profound. And then the last thing that I want to look at here, and we'll open this up for Q&A, would be some of the integrations that we have. So if we're running the digital ads, we can run that from your Facebook page to continue the branding and the recognition. I alluded to the calendar integrations a moment ago, Google, Outlook, Apple, and Calendly. And then we do have a handful of the most popular CRM systems that advisors utilize that are directly integrated. So Pipedrive, Wealthbox, Salesforce, Redtail, and a new one that's coming around is Swivel. So if you're using one of these, the nice thing is you can activate the integration. As soon as a prospect registers in LeadJig, it automatically passes over into your CRM. So you no longer have to worry about exporting, reformatting, importing, or having somebody have to deal with that headache. For those of you that have staff members that help with seminars, this tool saves them a minimum of 3 to 5 hours per week that you're doing a seminar. So that's 3 to 5 hours that you can have that admin member help out with other revenue generating activity and maximize the spend on that employee as well. So that's my high level overview here. I know we went through a lot in a short amount of time. One of my buddies here likes to say it's like drinking out of a fire hose. So I'm going to open up the floor for thoughts, questions, concerns. What do you like? What don't you like? And if anybody wants to chime in, if you've done seminars, what's been your experience? If not, what are you currently doing from a marketing perspective? And we can kind of dive into how to increase ROI through other methods.
Awesome. I do have a couple of questions here for you. So not every attendee is ready right away. So how do you balance, or how do you get professionals to balance that, to convert immediately versus building that longer term nurture strategy?
Phenomenal question. So, as we know in this industry, right, somebody might sit down with you, whether they come from a seminar, they come from a referral, or they come in right off the street, right? They may love what you have to say, but it might not be the exact right time, right? Like right now, the markets are going up, they're going down, they're going up, they're going down. People are freaking out. They're worrying about losing money, but they don't want to pull funds out because they may run into, hey, I already lost 20% of my portfolio. I know it's not that bad, but I already lost 20% of my portfolio. I need to stay in the market and recoup that, right? So it is about timing. So I highly recommend, I know NFI has ways that they can help you drip on prospects. If you don't tap into what they're doing, a lot of the clients that we utilize, or a lot of clients of ours utilize, companies like Snappy Kraken, Constant Contact, MailChimp, things along those lines. So I would work with NFI to come up with kind of a drip sequence. Maybe they have some content that you can already leverage, and just stay in front of these people. It's all about timing. I had a client that I just brought on board that I started talking to 5 years ago. That's a lot of time that I invested, but the ROI is going to pay off significantly because this guy's got 10 advisors in his office. They're all looking at doing seminars now. It just wasn't the right time. They needed to develop the office. They needed to develop the process. So it's all about timing. But at a minimum, you need to have a drip sequence in place. Email marketing, text messages, videos. Videos are huge. If you could just send a quick little bomb video and say, hey, Betty, I appreciate you coming to my event 3, 6, 9 months ago. I just wanted to give you a quick update on X, Y, and Z. Shoot me a call or an email, and we can schedule a time that we can meet and talk about it. So just little things like that increase the ROI. And to your point, you're not going to get everybody to buy right away. That guy that I mentioned in Texas was an anomaly, right? It just happened to work out perfectly. All the stars aligned that day. Sometimes it's going to take 30, 60, 90 days to get these folks. And even furthermore, we had a client in the COVID era, did seminars with us for 15 years. He couldn't do seminars in California because they were closed down for so long. So he put them into a drip sequence, and he was able to close $8 million worth of new business in a 90-day period just by dripping on previous folks that had attended. So I know that was long-winded, but I hope that helps answer the question.
Yeah, definitely. Another question that we have here is really, you mentioned that AcquireUp has a coaching as well as seminar teachings that they have available. I was wondering what exactly is entailed in that coaching.
So the coaching call with Dean is free. It's included in working with us. It can be as long or as short as you want it to be. Usually it's about an hour for the first one. We'll go through best practices, how to power open, how to power close, how to make power statements, as well as, working with your marketing coordinator like myself and the others that we've got here internally. We've picked up tips and tricks. I've been here 9 years. And one of the best tricks that I've learned is the sticky note method for appointment setting. So the most important thing that you can do is deliver a good seminar. You don't have to be the most polished speaker of all time. I can go into the story of how I first presented at a conference. You guys would laugh. I'll do it quickly. I flew out with my boss. He was planning on presenting. He ended up getting food poisoning from oysters. He texted me at 3 a.m. Hey, bud, you're going to have to present at 8. And I paced around my hotel room for 5 hours trying to memorize it. I got up on stage. I forgot entirely what I was going to say, but I knew the subject matter, right? So you don't have to be a professional speaker. It helps to perfect that stuff moving forward, but you've just got to know the subject matter that you're planning on talking about. So you already do. You're in the business. You're the expert for a reason, but being able to display that is phenomenal. So that back to the sticky note method. One of my advisors uses sticky notes, and what he'll do is he'll write down 12 p.m. Monday, 3 p.m. Thursday, right? He'll put a handful of times that are available on the wall next to him. And he opens up with, hey, I'm Nick with ABC Financial. I'm getting ready to talk to you guys about tax mitigation strategies or whatever it might be. But I wanted to point out there's 20 of you in the room. I've got 15 appointments next to me that are available over the next 2 weeks. If you think that you want to meet with me, I highly suggest going and grabbing the time that you want. Don't feel bad if you walk up during my presentation. I'd rather you go grab it than wait till the end and it not be available. So just little things like that we'll share as we work together are going to significantly increase the ROI that you guys are going to see by doing these seminars.
Awesome. Yeah. The last question I have for you here, it's a bit open-ended, but I'll let you interpret it, is what creates a successful seminar?
That is very open-ended. Let's think here. Success to me means that two things. First and foremost, you are able to educate the community, right? Because that's really what we're trying to accomplish when doing a seminar. Obviously, we want to generate new business, but if we can go out and educate the community, that to me is success, right? So when you get those feedback cards at the end of the event and people tell you what they liked, what they didn't like, things along those lines, take that stuff to heart and implement the changes that you need to make and keep the stuff that it was really strong and people liked. Now, when we're talking about ROI, I like to see a minimum of 2x, right? Did I double my money? Did I get my money back? And do I have enough to run another seminar? To me, that's success. Because if you do a single seminar, you might as well just take that money to the casino, put it on red or black, and hope that you win because it's a 50-50 shot. With seminars, you've got to give it a good 3 to 6 attempts before you can truly judge if it worked or not, because the sales cycle ranges from 30 to 90 to 180 days of when these people are going to buy. So the most successful advisors I work with are doing a minimum of 1 campaign a month, which is two presentation dates. I've got several that are doing 4 campaigns a month where they're presenting 8 times in a single month. And those folks are doing, 70, 80 million worth of new annuity production or AUM. So that is an open-ended question. It's a little bit of a loaded question, but I hope my explanation makes sense and resonates with everybody, because the lack of financial literacy in this country is pretty sickening. I've got a freshman in high school, and he's taken a finance class, and he's learning more in that class than most of these seniors have learned throughout their time on this earth, just because we're starting to realize that financial literacy is a huge topic that we need. And with you guys having this expertise, you're not just going out looking to make more money, but you're also helping the community.
Yeah, great answer on that one. Well, Nick, we really appreciate you sharing all of that today. I think the big takeaway is just that seminars are a wonderful tool and that we should definitely be using it. And especially with the AcquireUp systems and programs that you have, it's definitely just a one-way street most of the way. For everyone who joined us today, if you're already running seminars or thinking about it, this is a great opportunity to either step back and evaluate or really use the tools that we've mentioned today into your own practices. At NFI Solutions, our goal is to support agents in exactly these areas as well as AcquireUp. Whether it's helping streamline the process or improving efficiency, that's just all we're really trying to do is just be a resource for you. Other than that, we do have a YouTube channel, so if you want to watch all of the past webinars we've done, educate yourself a little more on other types of financial and industry related topics, that's where you should be going. You can go estate planning opportunities, retirement planning, and even walkthroughs of the digital financial tools you can use. But if you have any questions after today's session or want to continue the conversation, you are always free to reach out to us. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. And Nick, thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate everybody's time here. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you.